The sun goes down and day turns to night, as light becomes darkness. It seems simple, but it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes daylight or darkness can last for months. 217 miles above the Arctic Circle lies the city of Tromsø, Norway. First settled by the Sami people more than 10,000 years ago, it is now the largest city in the northern reaches of the country.
Tromsø itself is located on an island. The natural harbor has attracted people for thousands of years. And if you look around you, you will see mountains and fjords.
And each year, from the 20th of May to the 22nd of July, you can see everything in Tromsø by daylight, even at night. This is the midnight sun.
The midnight sun keeps us up all night.
It never gets dark. You can see the sun, way above the horizon, even at midnight. You see people hiking, fishing at 3 in the morning. You can get a sunburn at midnight.
But then, from the 21st of November to the 21st of January, the sun never gets above Tromsø's horizon. The land of the midnight sun becomes the land of the polar night.
You do have always a couple of hours of twilight, and that can be quite beautiful, but it feels a bit like a 4-hour-long sunset.
After lunchtime, the only light is from electricity.
During the winter, it's dark and the stars are out when I leave office in the afternoon, and they're still out when I go to work the day after.
Let's unlock the secret of Tromsø's midnight sun and polar night. We can do this by looking at the Earth from space. We see a planet that orbits the sun at an angle of 23.5 degrees.
The Earth's axis is tilted, so when the Earth rotates around the sun, it will change between illuminating the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere.
In the winter, the northern hemisphere, including Tromsø, is angled away from the sun. The planet itself blocks the sunlight, throwing the North Pole into 6 months of darkness, and lower Arctic cities like Tromsø into months of polar night. In the summer months, the opposite is true, and the city is bathed in light at night, since the sun never truly sets. Of all the things to see during the polar night in Tromsø, there is nothing more spectacular than the light show known as the Aurora Borealis.
Are you guys on the minibus or the big bus? Minibus.
People come here from all over the world for nightly tours hosted by guides from Chasing Lights.
My name's Alex. I'll be your guide tonight.
Before the road trip begins, there is work to do.
It's not just get out of the hotel room, look up, and that's it. So there's a bit of work involved. You need to get to a dark spot, you need to get away from the bad weather.
So 6, kind of gap in the south and a little bit on the north.
All our guides go through all the different weather forecasts that we find are most reliable. Then we have a discussion about which direction we want to go.
So really good around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and getting a bit worse later in the night.
Finding clear sky, that's the main objective every night.
It's so difficult to forecast the weather in northern Norway, especially around the Tromsø region, because we have all of these microclimates, these fjords, these mountains. They create their own little valleys, little pockets of pressure that can trap these bits of weather in certain areas, and so we have to stay on our toes.
You drive maybe 1.5, 2 hours out of the city and it's clear sky on the other side of the mountains. And that really makes Tromsø a place where the success rate is, I think, particularly high when it comes to seeing the northern lights.
But catching the northern lights in all their luminous glory isn't guaranteed.
Northern lights don't just appear like this, so sometimes we sit outside for 2-3 hours before we see anything, and sometimes we step out of the bus and you see them right away.
On this night, the sky is alive with ghostly green lights undulating 60 miles above the snow.
Got that really cool arc pushing right over. Wow, really, really cool.
Look at that! You see it lighting up the landscape? Oh, look straight above us!
It's literally the northern lights illuminating the landscape.
I think seeing the Northern Lights is magical, it's fascinating. Most people will talk about it for a long time. I think you have to see it once in your life.
Oh, it's amazing!
Even today, we're still learning new things about the polar light show. But scientists have unlocked the fundamental forces involved. They know that the aurora is powered from 93 million miles away.
So from the sun there is a continuous stream of hot gas flowing out into this vacuum, and that's what we call the solar wind.
The solar wind shoots out into space at over 1 million miles per hour, with enough charged electrons and protons to burn every form of life off the surface of the Earth. But far below the surface, Earth's spinning core of molten metal creates a protective magnetic field that has shielded us for over 4 billion years. Instead of reaching the surface, the charged particles from space are diverted from their deadly path.
These particles start colliding with the neutral gas that exists in the upper atmosphere, and the colors, they tell us what sort of gases.
The shimmering green is oxygen atoms reacting with the solar particles, while nitrogen creates tones of pink, blue, and purple. The aurora is not just a light show. Ionized particles against the black backdrop of night make the invisible magnetic field visible. In Tromsø, the unique nighttime experiences on offer have left their mark, not just on the people who witness them, but also on the city itself.
We have new hotels, the airport is being expanded, so I think the Northern Lights, the midnight sun, the polar night, it has really affected how Tromsø feels like these days.